He picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Well, good day, friends. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm Frankie, and welcome to the Think Tank. So, what I want to touch on is what's going on in Mexico with all of the different cartels and people that are taking holidays in some of these places. They're going for medical treatment, they're going for all sorts of different reasons, but there's literally some places that a person should not go. And this is a lot of what they call river towns. A lot of these areas, people are trying to get across the Rio Grande and onto American soil. And then some of them are trying to make their way into Canada. So, right now in Matamoros, there's two different cartels that are fighting against each other. And sadly, they are also inviting a whole bunch of other trouble. So I'm going to go through this with you. And this is just a couple of days ago that this happened. 2 Americans kidnapped in Mexico, found dead. So let's watch this and see if it explains a little bit of what happened the other day. These were just 3 people from...
Progress is the result of human...
They were just going in for... They were supporting a friend that was getting a tummy tuck, actually. And it sounds like they were mistaken for
other people. Cartel there sometimes shoots first and asks later.
And it appears that they were confused by individuals that were being targeted. And as a result of that, we don't know their fate yet.
They see a pickup truck, they see an SUV. Their automatic response is, this is a threat to us. They're here to get us. They're after us. I saw the video. They appear to be heavily injured or even possibly deceased.
Well, that doesn't mean that there's no hope for these 4 young individuals to come back home. There's always hope. But what we do know is that the trend throughout the world, in all the research that we've done of years of experience, is you don't get inside that vehicle and you evade getting inside that car at all costs.
This is the shift that we've been seeing with these cartels. They no longer operate the way that they used to just 10, 15 years ago. They have shifted to more violence. They have shifted to control, and they show it by doing these horrific events of violence against people, in this case, U.S. citizens.
So how sad is that? So 2 of the 4 Americans who were kidnapped.
Progress is the result of human inventiveness, improving the quality of life for people.
So 2 of the 4 Americans who were kidnapped in the Mexican border city last week are dead, Mexican officials said Tuesday morning. Approximately 1 hour ago, we were confirmed that the 4 Americans were located. Governor, okay, I'm not very good with this type of pronunciation. Américo Villarreal of Tamaulipas State said in a phone call during President Andre Manuel Lopez Obrador's daily news conference. 35 minutes ago, we got confirmation from the prosecutor's office that of the 4 people, 2 were found unalive. 1 was wounded and 1 was fine, basically. Villarreal said ambulances are rushing to the area to recover them and offer them medical care. A Mexican official said that Americans were found in the village of Tecolte, about 15 miles from the border city of Matamoros, the site of the kidnapping past Friday. The Attorney General of, Tamaulipas, Irving Barrio Majoka, said they were found during a joint search. Mexican officials said that the United States had provided intelligence. Mexican Security Secretary Rosa Isela Rodriguez said a suspect had been detained but offered no further details. Lopez Obrador said Tuesday there would be no impunity for the perpetrators. He said that the Mexican authorities were working and cooperating with their U.S. counterparts in a respectful manner, but that his government would not allow foreign countries to intervene in national issues. He said that they don't meddle and try to see what the U.S. criminal gangs are distributing as far as fentanyl, he said. Officials did not immediately name the victims. The Americans have been identified by family members as 3 friends who were accompanying a 4th who planned to undergo a medical procedure in Mexico. It's been said as of the past little while that that person was going for a tummy tuck. Lativa Tay McGee, her cousin Shaid Woodard, and friends Zindal Brown and Eric James Williams, traveling in a minivan with North Carolina plates, had reportedly just crossed over the border from Brownsville, Texas, into Matamoros, where they were fired on and abducted by unidentified assailants. The FBI offered a $50,000 reward for their return and for the arrest of the people responsible. This is like a bad dream that you wish you would wake up from, Zelandria Brown told the Associated Press. Before the deaths were announced, she identified one of the kidnapped victims as her younger brother, Zindal Brown, of Myrtle Beach. One member of the group had intended to undergo the cosmetic medical procedure known as a tummy tuck. So let's watch this. I do believe this is the event that started it all. Video contains graphic content. What the hell? Whoa, hey? Oh my goodness. So I wonder if those are the 2 that have died, the ones that they're messing with right now. Look at all the people around there. They're just leaving. Don't see a thing. And it's not stopping these guys from... Oh. What the hell? Can you imagine? Just pulled in. Rumors are that they mistook this as a different person. So let's take a look at this. This is not a vacation spot, people. This is a war. And none of us need to be in that war. So 2 Americans kidnapped in Mexico, found unalived. 2 killed, 3rd person injured, and 4th unharmed after Quartet traveling for cosmetic surgery were taken in, Tamaulipas. Two of the Americans were recently kidnapped in Mexico, have been found unalived. Third, as we know, was wounded, and the fourth one is physically unharmed. No other details about how the Americans were found were immediately released. 4 Americans had gone to Mexico. We basically know for cosmetic surgery, that tummy tuck. Okay, Zelandria Brown of Florence, South Carolina, told the Associated Press that her younger brother, Zindell Brown, was one of the 4 kidnapped victims. She explained that her brother had gone with 2 friends to accompany their third friend, who was undergoing the tummy tuck. The 4 traveled in the white minivan with North Carolina plates the last Friday. When they got caught up in a shootout shortly after entering the Mexican city of Matamoros, Tamaulipas, from Brownsville, Texas, FBI officials said in a statement on Sunday, an innocent Mexican national was killed during this shootout, and the men wielding rifles put the 4 Americans into the back of the pickup truck at gunpoint and drove them away. Zelandria Brown said that her brother was nervous about making the trip, saying we shouldn't go, but the friends group was close and decided to go together to split up the driving. Zelandria Brown added in her interview with the AP, which was published on Tuesday, the AP reported that the video on social media on Friday showed the 4 being put in the back of the truck. One was alive and sitting up, and the others appeared unalived or wounded. At least one person appeared to lift his head from the pavement before being dragged to the truck. The FBI was offering a $50,000 reward for the return of Brown, McGee, Woodward, and Williams, as well as the arrests of those who took him. Do not be vacationing in Matamoros. Do not be vacationing in Juarez. Do not go to these towns, these border towns. They are not safe. The cartel is basically running all of that area, and they're in the process of having turf wars. So if you really, really have to go to Mexico at this point, go to a place that is protected. Go to Cabo. Go to the ruins. Go somewhere where us visiting is part of their economy and they will take care of us. These other places, they are literally ran by the cartel. Literally no safety. Don't go. So here, the U.S. State Department warns Americans to not travel to the Tamaulipas. However, its location on the border means Americans, especially in Brownsville or elsewhere in Texas, frequently cross to visit family, attend medical appointments, or shop. It is also a crossing for people who travel deeper into Mexico. It's also a way for people who either work in Mexico or the Mexican people work in America. So this is a busy place to cross. I see that these people are holidaying and getting this work done. And I don't know, I guess the best thing to do is literally research these areas before you buy a ticket, before you go drive, before you cross that country border. So this is again telling about the drug cartel attack that was caught on video, wasn't it? Right here it's saying that the cartels are using drones to find weak spots. Let's see.
2 Border Patrol chiefs appeared before the House Committee and described the extraordinary challenges the agency is facing on the southern border. In Texas's Rio Grande Valley, cartels are using drones to pinpoint law enforcement positions in an attempt to increase the chance of a successful smuggling attempt. Chief Gloria Chavez says the sector can see 10,000 drone incursions a year.
We have made great progress in countering the threat of small unmanned platforms. However, the adversaries have 17 times the number of drones, twice the amount of flight hours, and unlimited funding to grow their operations.
In Arizona, Chief John Modlin says agents are not encountering families seeking asylum, rather single adult men, many of whom have criminal histories. They wear camouflage, run, and even fight agents to avoid apprehension.
Many are previously deported felons who know they are inadmissible to the United States, and many pose a serious threat to our communities.
Chief Modlin says for an added fee, the immigrants are given cell phones to navigate through the desert and mountains. Cartels saturate the area with large groups to overwhelm agents. They even recruit American high schoolers on social media to drive immigrants after they cross. It's a very dangerous, sometimes deadly, and illegal venture.
No one crosses the border in Tucson sector without going through the cartels. In Tucson sector, everything south of the border is controlled by the cartels.
As for the politics, Republican Chairman James Comer says it's President Biden's fault.
President Biden and his administration have created the worst border crisis in American history. Cartels are leveraging chaos at the border.
The top Democrat on the committee, Congressman Jamie Raskin, says Republicans have voted against bills that could have helped the situation, and they have not presented a solution.
Our basic problem is a political one. Legal channels of immigration have been choked off in the wake of congressional failure to act in bipartisan fashion on immigration policy.
One thing did receive bipartisan support: stopping the flow of fentanyl. That was described as a matter of life and death. For more border and immigration coverage, stick with Straight Arrow News for unbiased, straight facts.
Wow. The 2 surviving victims have already been returned to the U.S. by the Mexican state and local authorities. The tragic news came hours after the Americans were identified as a group of friends who traveled into Mexico, so as we know, one could get a tummy tuck. Family members named the group as Latavia, Tay McGee, Shiad Woodward, Lindell Brown, Eric James Williams are the 4 people who traveled from South Carolina to Mexico on March 3rd, not long after entering Matamoros, an area dominated by the Gulf Cartel. They came under fire from a group of armed men and were bundled into the back of a pickup truck. The video circulating on social media appears to show the 4 friends being loaded into a pickup truck during their abduction, many of them dragged limply into the vehicle. After the group was found, one of the suspects was arrested, and U.S. officials vowed to get justice. Federal and state authorities, with personnel from the U.S. consulate and the Matamoros, delivered 2 citizens of that country in the border who were located today after they were deprived of their freedom on March 3rd. An unnamed state authority told the Associated Press that the missing American citizens were found in a rural area east of Matamoros called, Agido, Longarino, on the way to the local beach known as Playa Baghdad. Investigators reported Lee received word that the victims' locations before dawn on Tuesday, knowing that today is Tuesday. It remains unclear how that word was delivered or how the rescue operation unfolded. The authorities requested anonymity because it was not authorized to speak out about the case. The FBI and Mexican authorities have made an arrest in the deaths of the 2 American citizens unalived in the state of Matamoros. The tragic news was revealed on a televised call between Tamaulipas Governor Americo Villarreal and President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador on Tuesday Tuesday. Mr. Villarreal said that another person was found wounded while a fourth individual was unharmed. The group identified on Monday as Latavia, Tay McGee, Shiad Woodward, Zindel Brown, and Eric James Williams were taken hostage last Friday after entering the state of, Tamaulipas in Matamoros, an area dominated by the Gulf Cartel. These cartels are they're not safe. Don't be thinking that you're tough and just, invincible, and try going into these places. Look what happens. And sadly, a lot of people that do go in, whether they're of Mexican descent, American, Canadian, doesn't matter. People go missing. And this is just basically Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said one person has been arrested in connection with the kidnapping of the 4 Americans. More details are expected to be released by Tamaulipas Governor Américo Villarreal at a news conference. Mexican president says very sorry about the kidnapping and deaths. Two dead, one harmed, and one still okay. So basically I wanted to put this out as information about a scary crime in another country, but I also wanted to get this out so people can maybe be more aware or make themselves more aware when you're leaving your country. Be sure that you know what you're going into. It's not all beach and cocktails. There's a lot of things that go down. A large percentage of Mexico does have cartels, including some of the tourist hotspots. So friends, just be very careful when you choose to go to some of these other countries. I've been to Mexico a few times, but with that said, I'm not in a big rush to go back. Too much is happening in that country. When there's unrest in a country, absolutely not the best time to go for a visit. Like I say, check out Cabo, check out the ruins, check out places that are safer. This is not a safe place, never has been. I'm 55 years old, and the entire time I can recall, Matamoros and Juarez, 2 places that bad things happen. So I just wanted to put that out there, friends. More of, a heads up as to what is happening. Pay attention to where you're going. Research the living crap out of it and keep yourself safe. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was knowledgeable. You got a little bit of something out of it. And as always, I appreciate you, and I'll absolutely see you in the next one. Bye.